This episode is brought to you by Netflix. Becoming the most valuable sports franchise in the world doesn't happen without risk. A man who's willing to bet it all, and the players ready to make their own luck. America's Team, The Gambler and His Cowboys, is the story of the 1990s Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones's impact on NFL history. Featuring interviews with iconic 90s players and more. Watch America's Team, The Gambler and His Cowboys, streaming now only on Netflix.
Una silla de masajes puede parecer extravagante. 8 configuraciones diferentes, intensidad ajustable, además es calefaccionado. Y se siente tan bien. Sí, una silla de masajes puede parecer extravagante. Y 2, bueno, aún más. Pero cuando esas sillas de masajes vienen con un auto, se vuelven bastante prácticas. El nuevo Volkswagen Tiguan 2025 con funciones premium como los asientos delanteros con masaje disponibles. Solo parece extravagante.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contracts. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan. $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Today's top story, the flavor merger of the century between the Peanut Butter Group and Chocolatey Corp. Joining me is a PBC executive.
Thanks for having me, Barry.
Now, how did you know the merger and the byproduct of it, Jif peanut butter and chocolate flavored spread, would be a success?
You know, it was a gut feeling, a rumbling, if you will. Besides, they're two titans of taste.
Very true. Goes great with pretzels.
And pancakes.
Apples too, I bet. Try Jif PBC today.
Welcome back once again to the Skating Penguin Network, everyone. It's been a while, but it is Robbie here in Western PA, and then it is Snail on the other end of the mic out in Seattle. And yeah, it's been a while. We've been busy. It has been a slower than even expected summer around the NHL, not just the Penguins, but we do have some things to talk about. But before that, we're going to bring in Snail real quick. And Snail, I don't know what it's like out in Seattle right now, but when I tell you that fall has arrived in Western Pennsylvania, I mean that fall has firmly arrived in Western Pennsylvania. We're going on 3 or 4 days now, the high of like 65. It is about 40 in the morning.
What?
Yeah, we are getting, I think I had 42 when I turned on my car this morning. It has been fall. It has been end of September, early October weather here in Western Pennsylvania. So we are full. It is, when they say that it feels like hockey in the air, that's what I mean when I feel it feels like hockey in the air out here in Western PA.
What the hell is that? I believe you, but I'm looking at the weather app right now. Yeah, man. God, Pittsburgh. I mean, it's like I see rain in the forecast. I see some lows here. Like, I mean, right now in the greater Seattle area where I live, it's 80 degrees, and our low for the week is going to be mid-60s, like in the evening. So, still full on summer here, man. Like, I know my family, they're on a little day trip up into the Cascades, and it's over 100 degrees up there.
Holy, up in the mountains.
Yes, in the high elevation, it's about 100 degrees right now. I just checked in with them a couple hours ago. So, yeah, man, it's still summer here, but I am very envious because, dude, I told myself, see, usually during summer, it's my hell months. Like, it's hot and the work is really, it's usually very busy. And I usually can't wait for fall. Like, it gets to be early spring and I start thinking we just got to get to fall. We just got to get to September. I really bought into summer this year. I've been outside a lot. I've been very active. I've been playing roller hockey. I've been doing my other hobbies that are outside. I've been working. And dude, I mean, it's just we're almost there. It's the 28th, right?
Yeah, today is the 28th. You'll be listening to this on the 29th. But yeah, we are. It's Labor Day weekend.
We're close.
It's Labor Day weekend. I mean,
yeah, true. Labor Day weekend, we're getting there. But I know that out here we have something called a false fall that usually comes around or like maybe even like mid-August or late August, and it gets everyone's hopes up, and then boom, September, it's going to be like 80 every single day. And then once we get to October, it really starts to taper off. Once that sun, starts going away, I think we had our last, the other day we had our last sunset after 8 p.m. So we're inching our way towards it, but hearing those temperature numbers, Robbie, out there in Pittsburgh right now, I'm a little jealous. Doesn't even describe it. I'm pretty I'm almost kind of upset. Like, what's so great about Pittsburgh that you guys get the early fall?
I don't know. That hurricane rode up along the East Coast and kind of, if I understand it correctly, pulled a lot of cold weather down from Canada. It literally shifted the entire jet stream down. But even the extended forecast, there's not much. It's supposed to get back to the 70s, and we get that false fall stuff too. And we get that stuff where it'll be like 70 for a week, and then like second, third week of September, it'll be 80, 85 out of absolutely nowhere. But one thing that though, when those days come, the cold nights still hang around. The humidity is usually pretty low, so it's not terrible, but it feels legitimately like I have to put a jacket on to go to work in the morning. Like, I haven't had to do that since May. It was a long cold spring,
right.
So it hasn't been that, but it came out of nowhere too, because it went from like really warm and humid to fall like within like the snap of fingers. It was really quick, and I'm telling you, it absolutely feels like hockey season. Like, and again, we're not far away from it. It feels like I get home from work and I'm getting ready to throw on a long sleeve shirt, eat dinner, and flick on the Pens on a chilly early season October game. It's crazy.
That literally just made hairs on my neck stand up. Like, just thinking about coming home from work and you change out of your work clothes and then you hop into something cozy because you know that the next 3 hours you're going to be just marinating on the couch with snacks, dinner, possibly even cold beers. And that, like, dude, I'm ready for it. I saw a meme recently that got me a little fired up too. And I don't know I don't know how often you've rewatched Game of Thrones, but I saw like this thing that was like, it's starting to feel like firing up Game of Thrones because winter will be coming.
I have to agree with that. Game of Thrones is a very winter fall show. Like, again, 100%. the whole like catch line is winter is coming. Like, that is the whole, but like, even when it's not snowy and dreary in that show, it just feels like a show that you watch in like September to December. It just feels like
100%.
Yeah, I agree.
I saw that and I got a little excited too because I like to, there was a couple years ago I went off and I rewatched Game of Thrones. It was when the new what's it called, House of the Dragons was coming out.
Yeah.
I basically watched Game of Thrones through twice in like a year just to get for the hype for House of Dragons. So anyways, it's coming slowly. Like you said, it's basically Labor Day weekend. These mornings are going to, even if you're not lucky enough to be in, the greater Pittsburgh area, the outskirts of Pittsburgh, where it's basically feels like Halloween's around the corner. Football starting. That's a great indicator. Crispier mornings, a little bit shorter days, getting into those colder nights. But man, I wonder if there's people that listen to us that just hate the winter and fall. Like, there's probably some people that are sunbirds. They love sun, and they're just like, dude, stop talking about this. Like, we only get some places, only get, like, even some of our Euro listeners, they probably live in places where, summer's quick, dude. Like, some of those European countries, right? Like, summer comes and goes almost a little too fast.
Oh, I guarantee you there's people that listen to this podcast that absolutely despise the summer months, especially if they live up in like Northern Europe where the days are just, especially in the winter, the days are very short.
Already short, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're Seattle, you're not that far north, but like my parents were in Alaska in June and it was daylight like 21 hours. And in the summer, and that was like, again, if they get even a little farther north, it's like 23 hours and 15 minutes of daylight every day. So like you're up in like our friends up in Denmark and England, like they get a few hours of daylight as a treat. every day during the winter, if they behave, if they're good little boys and girls. But here, I mean, even here, like the days are shorter in the summer or in the winter. But even now, I can see it's starting to tick. The days are getting shorter and shorter all the time. I can tell now that, I mean, it's like 8 now. It's about dark. 7:30. It's even, and that's if it's clear skies. If it's cloudy at all, it's even. It feels even shorter than that. So, yeah, crazy time of year. But yeah, like you said, it's hockey season just about. I mean, Monday is Labor Day. It is the 1st of September. That is full on like.
It's the month countdown, basically.
Yeah, I mean that is training camps. That is prospect tournaments. That is fully the full shift. Junior seasons are starting. Everything is kind of like into gear. It's going from like you're going basically from first gear to second gear to third gear, kind of as the month goes along, and it's going to go fast though, which is nice. But and it means we're going to have actual stuff to talk about here in a couple of weeks once the Penguins all get back to Pittsburgh and they hit the ice finally.
Yeah, no, dude. I guess before we get into like the little that we do have to talk about, we're really plucking here to find some things that can fill up some time here that we can talk about. So bear with us because I would say this week and maybe next week it's going to be a little bit dry still, but. Dude, like you said, pretty soon there's going to be, prospect stuff going on. Training camp, the buzz before training camp will be huge. We're going to be in those days sooner than later where you're just like, I just hope everyone makes it to game 1 healthy. You know what I mean? Like you're going to be hoping everyone stays healthy through camp. I did see a couple of PTO things happening. So you wonder, God, there's a bunch of free agents that are still out there right now. I'm pretty sure. That dude, our good friend Matt Grzelcyk still hasn't signed with a team. You wonder if a team gives him a PTO closer to camp. I don't know. It's going to get interesting here soon enough. But what do you want to dive into first here? Like, I mean, there's a couple of things we kind of before we jumped on here, we kind of roundtabled just like, yeah, there's Rust getting invited to a development to the USA Olympic camp. There's this sale of the Penguins has kind of been discussed and murmured about, and a new front runner has sort of emerged, so we could talk about that. We could talk about I don't know. I said, I think almost a year ago to the day the McGroarty-Yager trade went down, and it's probably safe to say that there's still no notable winner yet in that trade. We probably got to wait a few more years to really give that trade a grade. Yeah. So I'll let you take it from here. Where are we going with this one?
Let's start with the ownership because that's kind of like the biggest.
Okay.
I guess question mark surrounding the Penguins right now outside of the roster, the most the off ice portion of everything. And so we've talked about it over the past. It's probably been 6 months now, maybe a little less. That rumors have been floating that FSG, Fenway Sports Group, the Penguins' primary owners, are looking to sell a part of or the majority stake of the Pittsburgh Penguins. And the first name that came up, obviously, was the Mario Lemieux, Ron Burkle kind of conglomerate that owned the Penguins before. That was the big news. That made all the waves, obviously, for obvious reasons. But in the past couple of weeks, a new name has kind of worked its way into the fold, and it's a name backed with a lot of money. And like the Lemieux Group, they do have hockey background. And it is the Hoffman family. They are, if you do not heard of them, I don't blame you. I had to look them up too, but they are from Chicago, and they currently own the Florida Everblades of the ECHL, the team that until this past year were the 3-time reigning Kelly Cup champions, the champions of the ECHL. And there's a lot of money here. They're not, I don't know enough about them. They are just a very rich family from Chicago looking to expand their portfolio. But what really stuck out to people was, one, it was a person, not a kind of group where there's a bunch of investors and kind of like a faceless blob kind of thing like you get with FSG. The Hoffmans are just like a family. There is a son, I believe, a father that are mostly involved in it. but they do have hockey background. Obviously, it's not at the NHL level or anything like that, but it is familiarity with the inner workings of a professional hockey team. They've developed on ice success, and they're maybe looking to take that next step now. So that is the latest, and nothing. Again, they were in talks. They've talked with FSG. There's no deadline. There's no expectation on anything yet, but it is another name to keep to be familiar with, because they could very well be the new owners if everything gets done. But that is where that is just another name that's been thrown into this mix.
Yeah, kind of out of left field. When you hear like Lemieux and Burkle coming back into the fold, I feel like there's people that could sort of, I don't know. Those are two people that would probably be very welcome back in Pittsburgh to be running the team. I guess I'd be curious for you, Robbie, as someone who lives in Pittsburgh, and we both hold this team near and dear to our hearts. But like, you being from Pittsburgh and following the team as long as you have, like, does the idea of, FSG, the conglomerate that they are, and with the other teams in their portfolio, they've got what, the Red Sox, and they've got what, some European soccer, Liverpool. They were looking to kind of collect big name teams, kind of like that Marvel dude with the gemstones, right? Like or the Infinity Stones. Sorry.
Yeah.
So it kind of felt like that, and then you've got this Hoffman group out of Chicago or whatever, and yeah, they've actually got a background in hockey, but I mean, like, is FSG just looking to make a buck here, or do they see this like kind of? I'm a little bit confused by like, why did they buy the Penguins in the first place, and like now that they are going through like kind of a non-traditional rebuild, let's call it, they want to get rid of them. Aren't they going to lose the Penguins? Aren't they going to be at like a loss, like a deficit for like? The team's not on the uprise. They're not winning cups right now. I'm a little confused as to what's going on with FSG, and like with this Hoffman group entering, would you rather FSG just hold on and like hopefully Mario and Burkle come back in the fold, or someone from Pittsburgh, or does who owns the Penguins for someone from Pittsburgh not matter as much as maybe I'm kind of mistaking it to?
So my understanding is the valuation of the Penguins is over $1 billion, which is more than it was when FSG bought the team. So they would, presuming, come out in the green or in the black if they would sell. As for the ownership, Pittsburgh, again, the same families own the Pittsburgh Steelers since their inception. They created the team. They've owned the team the entire time. I think there's a presumption in the city of Pittsburgh of like, it's better if somebody from Pittsburgh owns them. I don't necessarily agree with that. And again, the Penguins have had unbelievable success under Mario Lemieux's ownership. Like, that's undoubtedly. But they also won 2 cups before they were locally owned too. Don't forget about that. And had some very good teams. Hall of Fame, lots of Hall of Famers. I mean, you can go through the list. You can look at the rosters of those 90s teams and see who was on there. There is definitely like I said, a presumption of, well, if they're owned by a local person, then it's better. Again, not necessarily. You can have a bad business person own the team. And I don't think that FSG has been a failure like some people think they have. I think people misread where the Penguins were when FSG came in. You had a couple, obviously, missing the playoffs early in their tenure. But they've put a lot of money into, one, the arena, updating it to standards that they don't have to build a new arena anytime soon. Again, that lease for that arena goes through, I believe, like 2040 or something like that. So that's not even an issue on the horizon. But they put a lot of money into just enhancing the arena experience, I'll say. But then you have, again, they hired Kyle Dubas. They were aggressive in that hire. I mean, they waited a long time to make that hire because they were closing in on what felt like 3 different guys until Dubas was let go by the Maple Leafs. And then all of a sudden that became the priority. They are on board with Kyle Dubas being the overseer of this team. They've kind of taken a hands-off approach, which I don't think is a bad thing. Because just because you get a a small family ownership doesn't mean they can't meddle and cause issues. FSG has kind of been hands off with Dubas and letting him run the show, which is good. They're not hockey people, and Kyle Dubas is. Kyle Dubas has more hockey experience than pretty much anybody that can buy the Penguins outside of Mario Lemieux, I'd say. And this is a guy that has been doing this since he was. I mean, he's still young, but he always looks like a kid. Like he does not look old at all. But they've kind of let Kyle Dubas just run the show, kind of giving him the wheel. They write the checks, and I mean, look what they did this year. They had 13 picks in the draft this year because they just let Kyle Dubas kind of do what he wanted to do, work out his plan. I think the Penguins, from a long-term view, are in a better place now than when they bought them, even if it's not going to show up on the ice this year. I just think that some people just don't have the patience. They haven't been through this before, and yeah, it sucks, and losing sucks, but that's sports. That's how you rebuild. But no, I don't necessarily think that. I think FSG has to get the price right. If they don't meet the price, they're not going to sell. If they sell maybe minority stake and then maybe look at a full majority sell later down the road, I don't hate FSG like some people do. I just think that it's a misreading of the situation by fans. And a sale's not necessarily bad, but there's a lot of factors that go into it. Just because they're local doesn't make a difference. Just because they have hockey experience doesn't mean they make a difference. Sometimes you just need to buy the team, back away, and let the hockey guys do their thing. And the nice thing about Lemieux was they understood the game. They understood the league. They understood how it worked. And in a few years, you're going to have to navigate the waters without Sidney Crosby, whether you want to admit it or not. We know that's coming, but I don't think it has to be sold. It does not seem like FSG is rushing anything just to get a sale done, because they know what their price is. They want to make money off this, and it'll be interesting to see here in the coming weeks or maybe even months to a year or more where all this goes. But it's just kind of getting a feel for the potential buyers, I guess, and I just think people are going to be disappointed if it's not Lemieux, but I don't think that's necessarily the end of the road if it's not.
Yeah, totally. I think that I'm kind of in that boat that you just mentioned. Like I want Lemieux back in the fold. Just it's nostalgic. It just seems right. Yeah. You know, the success that when Lemieux was up there, I thought it was a good point by you that they actually won cups with a ownership that isn't local. I just feel like Pittsburgh kind of has that vibe that, like, you know, it's blue collar. It's like, let Pittsburgh guys kind of run like keep it all in house sort of. Yeah, I guess it'll be interesting to see how this shakes out. I don't think that from what the reports are looking like and what the news has kind of to say, it doesn't look like they're looking to sell before the season start or anything like that.
It'd be really, those sales don't just get pulled off.
No.
In 6 weeks.
No, it's not a PTO signing. It's like,
now if it's like a memorandum of understanding, like this is where we're going to, but yeah, you're not going to get a full sale done before October 8th or 9th or whatever it is. So yeah, I would assume that this is gonna, and maybe FSG's like, hey, we're not gonna done for the season. We're just gonna table this until spring.
Yeah. It's not like they're looking to get rid of it right now. It's not like they're playing hot potato with the team. Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. I'm sure this will be a common thing revisited throughout the season. You know, there'll probably be other names that emerge. But yeah, I guess as far as like the sale of the team, nothing's imminent, but there's some murmurs, there's some rumors, and I'm putting my hand up saying I hope that Mario Lemieux comes back into the fold. But ultimately, we just want, and you made a good point of it too. It's you just hope that competent people that are, I don't want to say always hands off, you know. Let's just, like, hockey background would be good, I guess. People that have, like, the Hoffmans with did you say it was an ECHL team?
Yeah.
So they've got 3-time reigning champ ECHL team.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the ECHL, but a lot has to go right in your organization, top to bottom, to win.
Yeah, I mean, you don't just yeah, a lot of pieces still have to fall into a place. Obviously, the leagues are vastly different and whatnot, but yeah, a lot has to fall into place for championships to happen. So, and it's again a familiarity with the game of hockey. Like,
right.
It's just you still around the game, you understand how it works. Again, coming from Chicago, I mean, they understand the passion of Blackhawks fans at the very least. Like they understand taking over like having a historic franchise, what it means, the success, what it does for the city. So like they're at least familiar with success in hockey. And and Mario would be great. And not just because it's Mario, but because some of the Penguins' best years came with him either playing or owning the team. Obviously, that would be fantastic. If it works out that way, I don't think anybody will be mad about it. But in reality, like if an ownership change happens, it happens. And you just hope that it works out for the best because what you think is the best option isn't necessarily the best option.
I miss when like a big moment would happen in the playoffs and they pan up to Lemieux, who's like standing up out of his seat, like in the press box. Like I miss those views, man. I miss seeing him around.
Absolutely. It'd be even if he would come back in some kind of former fashion. Like I feel like he hasn't been back to Pittsburgh since Yager's jersey retirement. Like it's just been.
Does he no longer reside in Pittsburgh?
I'm sure he has a house. I don't know if he's permanently there, but I think he spends most of his time back in Quebec.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I can't say how long but I'm pretty sure he still owns a house in Pittsburgh. But I'm sure. I think he's at most he's splitting closer to 50-50 between Quebec and Pittsburgh now.
I guess he didn't play anywhere else. He probably doesn't reside anywhere other than either Pittsburgh or somewhere in Quebec. I mean,
unless he has like a cabin in like the Rockies or something like that.
Yeah, or like I don't know. It seems like everyone's got a place in some like Wyoming or Montana or Idaho next to like a nice golf course or something like that. Or I don't know. Those Canadians like to get cabins in like Muskoka. I hear that all the time.
He just has a house in Banff and he's just up there like fishing.
If you're Mario Lemieux, why wouldn't you? Like,
if I had the money, I'd buy a house in Banff tomorrow.
Yeah, Jesus, talk about a beautiful place.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so I don't know. The more we hear about these like murmurs, I'm sure we'll cover them. It's not like it's some big secret. It's not like this is all trying to it's all in the public eye, and they're rumors right now. I mean, they could hold on to the team for 3 years. I don't think anyone would be shocked. So.
No, I wouldn't really be surprised by anything at this point. Nope.
And with that, I think we could probably move on to a different topic here. I was going to say, why don't we talk about someone who does have a house in Pittsburgh that we know, Brian Rust. Brian Rust getting what I think a lot of Penguins fans would consider to be finally some like due diligence and a little bit of respect on his name. And
Absolutely.
he's not chalked in to be in the top 6 of the U.S. Olympic team roster, but the first step is getting that invite to sort of the inauguration, the training camp. Nothing too serious. I mean, these are big rosters of lots of players.
Yeah.
They're casting a wide net, but Rust and former Penguins, Jake Gensel, he got the invite. And I think that's huge for Rusty. I mean, Sullivan's
absolutely.
the coach of the team. He probably, and I'm sure that everyone else that is, whether they're a GM for the Canadian or not for the U.S. team, Bill Guerin, he's very familiar with Brian Rust. Coaches that are on the staff, like they've all had to coach against him. He's a great player. I guess, dude, finally a little bit of respect on the name of I think he's from Detroit, Michigan's own Brian Rust, two-time Stanley Cup champion in Pittsburgh.
30 goal scorer.
30 goal scorer, finally.
Yeah, it's great to say that. It's still so fun to say that. But yeah, he was at the I don't know what the exact. It wasn't a development camp, but it was hey, let's see who we got. Obviously, there's some guys that are going to be penciled into this lineup already. You have I believe 6 guys that they announced already. But like looking at some of the faces here, it's going to be a hard team to make. Maybe Brian Rust comes out and scores 20 before New Year's for no other reason than he just wants to, and you can't not put him on the team. But yeah, it's much deserved. The dude is just, again, he just shows up and plays. That's all he does. He just shows up and performs. And good to see our boy Jake there as well. Obviously, no longer a Penguin forever, Penguin for life. Sure. Obviously, Jake is a favorite to make the team. They did have a group picture, and like Brady Tkachuk, who has already been announced, but Quinn Hughes is there. Austin Matthews is there. Matthew Nyes is there, which I think is a sneaky name to keep an eye on out of Toronto. Just something to kind of watch. Adam Fox is there. Jacob Slavin obviously is there.
Pittsburgh's own JT Miller.
Yes, Vincent Trocheck is there. Guys that I honestly don't want anywhere around the team come February, but hey, you got to give everybody a shot. Jake Ottinger, Connor Hellebuck, obviously, the big names there. JT Miller's there. But no, it's going to be, I'm just glad for Russ to get this experience, to be like a part of this group. I think there was 40, 45 guys that were invited to this. So that says a lot about where he's viewed. And I'm sure like Mike Sullivan was like, hey, we got to get him in the fold here. He earned it after last year. I mean, Sullivan's been there since day one with Rust in the NHL. Like he has been there since day one. So super, super pumped for Russ, because definitely a guy that, even if he doesn't make the team going to the Olympics, has earned his spot on this tryout camp, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, no, totally. And like you said, this is going to be a tough team to crack. It's just the U.S. team. This might be the best U.S. roster for the Olympics ever.
Yeah, I mean, the 2002 team was really good. You obviously had a lot of Hall, Brian Leach, guys, Mike Richter, bunch of really good talent there. Even the 98 team was really good. But this is like these guys are young and are hungry and are going to be a threat.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of superstars on each. Like, you could have multiple superstars on each line for forwards. The defense is probably as solid as it's ever been, and you've got a healthy competition for starting goaltender, and you've got a couple of Vezina candidates in there with Hellebuck, Ottinger. I'm not going to put Swayman in that conversation. I don't know. Last year
didn't... third at best, and
third at best.
I think Joey Decord is going to have something to say about that come February.
Sure. Oh yeah, there's plenty of runway for these guys to play themselves into conversations for starters or whatever. But the one thing I will say, and this is something that I think, this is just my consensus based off what I've gathered from social media and various articles I've read, is this isn't going to be the Four Nations face-off where it's NHL style play night in and night out. This is international rules.
Yeah.
I mean, Robbie, in the Olympics, if you hit someone too hard, they might throw you out of the game. Like, you can't do these like open ice hits, and there's certainly no fighting involved.
There will be no fighting involved. It will not be like that first Canada-USA game back in this winter at the Four Nations. It will certainly not be like that. It might be. We'll call it physical, and I'm sure these guys aren't going to need any extra motivation. But you'll not see raucous 3 fights in 13 seconds or something like that.
Robbie, there's never going to be a game like that again. Like international.
Honestly,
Eczema isn't always obvious, but it's real. And so is the relief from Ebglyss. After an initial dosing phase, about 4 in 10 people taking Ebglyss achieved itch relief and clear or almost clear skin at 16 weeks. And most of those people maintain skin that's still more clear at 1 year with monthly dosing.
Ebglyss, lebrikizumab, LBKZ, a 250 milligram per 2 milliliter injection, is a prescription medicine used to treat adults and children 12 years of age and older who weigh at least 88 pounds or 40 kilograms with moderate to severe eczema, also called atopic dermatitis, that is not well controlled with prescription therapies used on the skin or topicals, or who cannot use topical therapies. Ebglyss can be used with with or without topical corticosteroids. Don't use if you're allergic to Ebglyss. Allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Eye problems can occur. Tell your doctor if you have new or worsening eye problems. You should not receive a live vaccine when treated with Ebglyss. Before starting Ebglyss, tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection.
Searching for real relief? Ask your doctor about Ebglyss and visit ebglyss.lilly.com or call 1-800-LILY-RX or 1-800-545-5979.
Why are there ridges on Reese's peanut butter cups? Probably so they never slip from her hands. Could you imagine? I'd lose it. Luckily, Reese's thought about that. Wonder what else they think about. Probably chocolate and peanut butter.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso Virtual Coffee Machines. Ready to enjoy the bold flavors of barista-quality Nespresso iced coffee at home? Simply fill a glass with ice and press the brew button on your Virtual Pop machine to enjoy rich double espressos roasted to stand up even when chilled. Refreshingly bold iced coffee. Refreshingly easy to make at home. Visit Nespresso.com to shop now.
Love espresso, drip coffee, and cold brew? With the Ninja Luxe Cafe, if you can crave it, you can brew it. Espresso, balanced. Drip coffee, rich. Cold brew in a flash. With Barista Assist technology, you brew with no stress and no guesswork and make perfect silky microfoam hands-free from dairy or plant-based milks. Shop the Ninja Luxe Cafe at ninjakitchen.com.
There might not be an NHL game like that again. Like,
no, maybe not.
Like,
maybe
outside,
not.
Unless something happens that would get blood boiling between two teams that like really sets things off. Line brawls are very, very rare. I wouldn't even call that. That wasn't necessarily a line brawl. That was just dudes just wailing on each other.
That was just next man up. It was a fight. Just who's next?
But you need the crowd to be involved too in that. Like you need that emotion, that crowd. You're not going to get the fights in the Olympics, but you're going to have. I mean, these dudes are all hungry.
Yes.
You're going to have again, and anytime you start throwing like Kachucks into the mix, like something rowdy is going to happen. You just hope that you know something rowdy. Bring. Yeah, it's who they are. And then you throw guys like on the other side, Bennett's and Reinhardt's and Parekos, and it just gets a little unwound. And hey, that's why we love hockey.
It is. It's one of the things about hockey that separates it from other sports, but you can't really make that same argument too much for Olympic style. But I mean, we all watched 2010, right? You know, like, I mean, the USA Canada games, those were chippy, good games. And I'm not saying that this is going to be a snooze fest, but it's a different style of play. And if I could tie this back into Brian Rust, you've got you're going to have up the middle. You might have Austin Matthews into Tage Thompson I don't know. You're looking at someone. I mean, there's going to be a lot of different combinations in order to create like a quote unquote winning team. But Brian Rust, I think, kind of fits like you're not looking for guys that are going to run dudes through the board. I mean, Rusty can forecheck like with the best of them. He's a great. Yeah. I think him and Hyman have a similar type of game. You know, he can go be a dog on the puck, but he's got the finesse. He can score. He's got speed to his game. That's something that even as Brian Rust has gotten older has never really left his game. You don't see him falling off a cliff with foot speed.
Absolutely not.
When it comes to the Olympic style of game, how good just bear with me here. Like, think about Austin Matthews, first line center, or you got Jack Hughes maybe at the number 2 spot, or Tage Thompson at third line center. You can't tell me that line would be a detriment to put Brian Rust on any of those top 3 lines with any mix of those superstars. Like he complements.
He plays with a superstar.
He does. He does play with a superstar.
He's not like he's a third line like grinder.
No, he scores 30 with a superstar.
Yeah, it's not like he just like got lucky at 30 goals this year. He's had seasons where he should have gotten 30 if it wasn't for like a freak injury or a shortened season or something like that. This is a guy that plays with probably one of the hardest players in the league to play with, just because you have to think like Sidney Crosby. That's why Jake Ensel was so good with him, because you have to think like Sidney Crosby. You can't think about what's happening in that second. You have to think of like 2 or 3 seconds ahead, because that's where Crosby's at. And Russ has mastered that as well as Jake Ensel did, as well as Chris Kunitz did. Look, Chris Kunitz made a stacked Canadian team.
He did.
And I'd say that he is not as good of a goal scorer as Brian Rust is.
Not as consistently.
Not as consistent.
Yeah.
And he plays, again, and they both play with that, like, sandpaper game. Rust is a little bit faster, but Kunitz was obviously, I mean, he almost killed Kimmo Timonen.
He did
1 year. Like, Rust maybe doesn't.
Kunitz used to crush dudes. Like, that guy
that was the big thing when he got traded over, was like, that was like his defining, like, this is what he's bringing to this team. Like, he's gonna rock somebody. And then
he's from Manitoba, and he was playing in the Pacific Division down there in California, just getting seasoned, having to play the Kings and Kunitz was. I could wax poetic about Kunitz and what he brought to the Penguins and what went out the door when he left eventually, even in his older age. But dude, Brian Rust, like you were saying, he plays us. What do you need? That's what he brings. What do you need? You need a goal. Brian Rust can do it. You need someone to go in there and make a little space and play a little bit physical and get down in the corners and retrieve pucks. Brian Rust can do that.
Absolutely.
A lot of people forget that, like, dude, Brian Rust was a third, fourth liner when he was first getting his cracks in the NHL. And dude, Mike Sullivan had to stop playing him on the penalty kill because he can't help himself but block shots. Like, he'll eat pucks.
He's too important.
He was too important. He became too important. He had to take him off the penalty kill, even though he's like an elite penalty killer. So you look at a Swiss Army knife like Brian Rust, and when you're changing the game just ever so slightly too, you're taking that big physicality out of it. Brian Rust is one of those guys that, like, I mean, would you be shocked if on the first night of a really meaningful game in the Olympic Games, you see Brian Rust on a line with Austin Matthews and Jake Gensel? Like, would you be surprised?
No, I mean, he's played with Gensel before. Like, Brian, and knowing Mike Sullivan, like, Brian Rust has that clutch gene.
He does. Clutch gene,
he could very well. I would not be surprised if even if it's not to start the game, at some point, if he would make the team, Mike Sullivan's like, hey, I just need Rust. And he throws Rusty out there for some shifts with a guy like Matthews or a guy like one of the Kachucks or something like that. He would be a great compliment to Matthew Kachuk, or one of the Kachuk brothers too.
Oh God, dude,
actually, him and, like, I think, like, again, kind of like wishful thinking maybe, but like him and a guy like Tage would be like perfect on a line together.
I think so too. That's the first guy I kind of thought of when I was thinking about the roster.
Tage, and like a Jason Robertson.
Yeah, you got a little mix of everything, and
you have like the biggest guy in the team, and then like the two shortest guys on the team skating on the same line. But like, not like a line of like Tage Thompson, Brian Rust, and Jason Robertson. And that is a line that is going to be annoying to play against, but is going to rack up points and score goals.
Yeah, or I feel like, I don't know, Jack Hughes. I'm not the biggest Jack Hughes fan, but I mean, he's a phenomenal player. Like, if you're one of these centermen and you're looking at the roster and you're like, who do I want on my line to help get me the puck more? Or who do I want on my line that I can distribute the puck to? I'll do all the hard work. They just got to get open. A smart player like Brian Rust, there's going to be players that have had to play against Brian Rust, and they're going to be like, I'm so glad this guy's on our team, and I actually would like a shift or two with him to see how this goes. I just think it's a tremendous opportunity for Rust, and as a Penguins fan, and how, there's always these debates about most underrated players. And, for so many years, people said, for some reason, there were people for like 10 years that were like, Jared Spurgeon's the most underrated player in the National Hockey League. There were players that at one point said Huberdeau was, and Barkov. I think Brian Rust could put his name in the hat for one of the most underrated, Hall of Good players in the NHL.
I'd be down with that. I would completely agree with that. I mean, obviously Barkov can't fly under that radar anymore because of
he's got
the past few years. Huberdeau, maybe for like a cup of coffee, was that guy.
Yeah, like earlier on in his career.
Yeah, like early Panthers days.
Yep.
He was that dude, but he is obviously not the same player anymore. Like, Russ could absolutely fly under. I think Jake Gensel was that dude for
true.
Obviously, Gensel's stock has continued to rise out of that, but absolutely, I think Russ could. The dude, he just contributes. He just racks up stats. Like, playing with Crosby, like, he's consistent. That's all. That's really all you can say. He is just so consistent night in and night out that he deserves everything he's getting. And I I hope that he has a good start to the season and really pushes for a spot, because that would be so cool.
It would. And dude, I mean, it would be so cool to see just some, a current Penguin, because they're,
I mean, the options are limited.
Yeah.
I mean, the option, like, Crosby, Carlson, Raquel is going to be on the periphery depending on how his season starts. But like the Penguins' options are pretty limited going into this season for the most part. Russia's not there. Canada's so stacked. Like Letang, that defense is just too tough, and he just did not have a great season last year. Unless Tristan Jarry is like Vezina quality, he ain't gonna make it. Now again, Artur Shivas is already named to Team Latvia, so he will be over there as well. So they did.
Oh, he will.
There. Yeah, he was named. Him and Merzlikins are the two Latvian goaltenders heading over to the Olympics. They are both been named already. So that's another name that the Penguins will have over at the Olympics. But no, Russ would give another reason to. And again, I'm not going to need any excuse to watch the Olympic hockey.
Oh God, no.
Like I'm not going to I won't care if no Penguin makes it. I'm going to watch. But obviously, it maybe gives some casual interest fans a reason to watch. The United States, at least, obviously, Crosby's going to be the one to watch there. But no, I hope he has a season that can really push for a spot. I hope his orientation camp went well. He's earned at the very least that, and hopefully he keeps building that reputation. He can fight for a roster spot in what's going to be a very competitive United States team.
Who's got a better chance to make let's just call it the final cut, like the final roster? Raquel for Sweden or Rust for US?
I'm going to say it's Raquel because of the experience.
Okay.
He has the international experience. I think Russ gets kind of because he's not a high-flying winger like Raquel is. Like, Raquel's a guy that, like, if you're comparing the two, Raquel feels like a guy that, like, can score in bunches. I'm talking like an outsider. Like, I know Russ, like, if it's a big game, like, I know Russ can absolutely go. I mean, he is,
but like
reputation-wise, like, from an overall hockey perspective, I think Raquel has the sniper quality. Like, if you're just like, we just need a guy like we can stick out there in the power play and can snipe from the dot. Yeah. Raquel's going to get that dot. And the winger situation's not as deep on Team Sweden, and the experience factor, I'd say I have to give that to Raquel. And again, if he makes the team, it's well earned as well. That's nothing again. I'm not taking anything against Ricard here, but I think that just looking at the situation, the depth charts of both teams, if it's a borderline situation, I would tilt Raquel on that. But with Sullivan in the mix, you never know. You never know what.
That's a good point.
You never know what is being said behind the scenes. Bill Guerin played or no, he worked with Rust as a assistant general manager.
He did,
and in the minors a little bit. You don't know what's being said. Rust kind of fits that Billy G vibe. Even if you're going off the Four Nations roster, like Rust is kind of it kind of gives you a Billy G vibe. So
100%.
I don't know what's being said behind closed doors. I'm sure a close eye is going to be kept on all those guys. So maybe there's better odds of Rust getting on than we think because of the off ice factor that we don't get to hear about. But
the powers that be are very familiar.
Yeah, the powers that be are very familiar with Brian Rust and are, at least the head coach and the general manager are, from everything that we know, are big Brian Rust fans.
That's very well put. Yeah, I think that. I think based on reputation or whatever, you'd think maybe Raquel would get a sniff, but like that actually could be a detriment because Raquel's not a penalty killer. Raquel's not really a guy that, like, I wouldn't say Raquel has like a clutch gene. Like I could see Brian Rust in a Team USA jersey being thrown out on the ice late in a game and they need a goal and he's just Mr. Clutch and he's celebrating a goal with all the Team USA. I don't know. I could see Brian. I'm going to say Brian Rust. I think because of the powers that be and because of his versatility. But Raquel, I mean, they've got Philip Forsberg. They've got, you know, who else is a Swede that's a sniper? Kempe.
Yeah.
They've got those sniper dimensions or whatever, and I think that Brian Rust's versatility helps him out in this hypothetical.
Yeah, I think when you put it that way, I definitely think that it definitely gives him an edge. And again, Sullivan's a guy that's trusted Russ basically since he was a rookie.
Since he was in Wilkes-Barre.
Yeah, this is a guy that he threw right into the fire in the playoffs. This is a guy that has multiple Game 7 winning goals.
People forget that those runs, like Brian Rust was.
Maybe the answer is Brian Rust, and I just kind of lean too much toward Raquel, but I guess we'll find out in the coming months. Again, I mean, Rust could go out there and just light it up and put himself in great position. So the fingers crossed, because I would consider buying, like, at the very least, a Rust shirt. USA.
Oh, I was thinking about throwing it out there, being like, "Do you get a Rust jersey, USA?"
I mean, I would consider it, man. Everybody knows I'm a big time Brian Rust guy. I love Brian Rust, so that would definitely be in consideration if Brian Rust were to make the team. Absolutely,
man. I'm fired up for Olympics this year, dude.
I'm just fired up for hockey. I really just want hockey. I'm like, I can only watch so many highlights. Like the highlights are great because I know I can pick highlights where I know they're going to, like, win.
Yeah.
But, like, okay, they've won the Stanley Cup in 2017 like 100 times this summer. Like, give me something fresh.
Yeah.
I want to be talking about, like, I want to be mad at Tristan Jarry again. Like,
ooh, I do. Man, that's something that the closer we get to camp, we're going to have just an all goaltending discussion episode because you'd think the offseason cleared that up, but it just got a little bit more confusing.
It just got more confusing. We're going to have to bring Big G on for that discussion.
We are, who actually I was just trolling him today. Instagram added some new feature where if you have your location turned on, you can see where people are. I opened the map. I was just like, what's going on with this? I'd never seen it on my phone before. First guy I see, Garrett's little emote, or his little profile picture in a quaint little neighborhood in the outskirts of Pittsburgh, and I send him a screenshot of it, and I say, hey, are you by chance at this location? And he alerted me that he was in fact at a friend's house doing a fantasy football draft. So what do you think about that, Robbie? Garrett's getting do you play fantasy football?
I do play fantasy football.
Okay. So you're glued to your phone every Sunday looking at your
Yeah, I'm not, like, I kind of get to the point now where, like, I set my roster Sunday morning and I actually don't look at anything until halftime of the early games. Because I don't sit there and, like,
okay, so that's you exercising restraint then.
Yeah, but again, usually I'm watching a game, like, so even, like, because I don't remember, like, literally every guy I have playing, so, like, yeah, I just, like, wait until halftime of the early games, and then I wait to generally the end of the early games, and then I just kind of just so I'm not sitting there like, oh, so and so got 3 yards on this carry. That's no, I don't need that kind of stress. I really do it just for fun, but yeah.
Football starts soon, and I know we're not a football podcast, but maybe we'll have a little preseason, our little beginning of the football season preview of our prospective teams. But
yeah.
Other than that, Robbie, I was gonna say, like, we should move on now to something. Unless you had anything else you wanted to add about the Russ conversation or the Olympics. Okay.
I do not.
Well, I'm curious, Robbie, if someone out there in maybe the Penguins camp, maybe the Red Wings camp, listened to our podcast we recorded a couple weeks ago, because we were talking about.
I forgot all about that.
We were talking about two different things that actually ended up coming to fruition not too long after that podcast dropped. So someone out there's listening. I think someone's.
Yep.
I think we've got we
have a very avid Detroit listening base.
So we talked about the 91, the number I picked for roller hockey. We talked about why hasn't Detroit retired that number of all numbers? And we talked about the teams he played for, but most notably he was a Red Wing. Well, guess what? His number's going to the rafters, I think, sometime in November.
Yeah, that person is, of course, Sergei Fedorov, a guy that we've actually, for not being ever affiliated with the Penguins, a name that has been brought up on this podcast, like, multiple times.
A lot of times, yeah.
From talking with our friend CJ Gamble about Nike hockey skates. Obviously, the Fedorov popularized those in the 90s. the tinted shield with the capitals, and just being, again, and we mentioned that he was on that list of all-time great Russian hockey players. But he's definitely a name that we've brought up our fair share for a guy that's never been affiliated with the Penguins. But yeah, the Detroit Red Wings will finally, I can't believe it's honestly taken that long to do it. Like, he wasn't just like a cult, great Red Wing. Like, he was an all-time great hockey player. Like, yeah, it's shocking that it's taken this long, but he's definitely earned to have 91 hanging from the rafters. Well overdue.
Is Bure's number retired anywhere?
Pavel?
Off the top of your head? Yeah, Pavel Bure. Was he any
Vancouver?
Would he be in Vancouver retired there?
I did look it up and I can't remember. Yes, he is.
So I would say that Fedorov probably should. I don't know. I just feel like off the top of my head, without really digging into like the nitty gritty of statistics and tenure played and all that, you'd think Fedorov's number would have been retired before maybe a guy like Bure's. Did Bure quit playing before Fedorov? Did he retire before him?
Oh yeah, he retired. Let's see what Pavel's, because I think we said 2003. Fedorov quit playing in 2009.
In 2009, yeah, I remember that year. So, well,
I mean, Bure only played 702 career games.
Yeah, he didn't play that long. I mean, he was I don't want to say a flash in the pan because that would be kind of a disservice to his career. But people forget that Bure was his window for being really flashy and really good wasn't like he had a 25-year career. You know,
he had 437 goals in 702 games.
Pretty good.
Fedorov had 483 goals in 1,250 games. So like Bure could just fill the net. But like Fedorov, again, they actually didn't come over that far apart from each other. But Fedorov was like, again, if you remember, like, again, Bure got kind of buried in a Canadian market. So having a guy like Fedorov in the NHL in a massive market like Detroit, and Detroit being a legitimate power in the 90s, like, that dude was a superstar. Like,
he played defense and forward.
He was flashy. Like, he was Ovechkin before Ovechkin in terms of
like a Russian superstar.
Yeah. The Russians always kind of got the vibe of they're cold and kind of to themselves. Fedorov was flashy. Bure was like flashy too, but like in a different way. Fedorov was like the Nike white skates, like the colored laces, the tinted shield, like, and then going into a market like Detroit, playing with like your Canadian superstars like Stevie Yzerman, like, he was just a marketable freak of an athlete and just very flashy. But I'm very surprised it's taken this long to retire his number in Detroit. I mean, he's been retired since 2009. That's kind of crazy.
And it took a Penguins podcast to get this whole thing
I'm taking credit. We haven't heard anything other than that, so I'm saying that we are the reason that it's going to be retired. So Detroit, we should get invited to that retirement ceremony.
Oh, we absolutely should, and that would be so weird for a Penguins podcast to be in the stands covering this. But
yes.
we will be taking the credit for this for Fedorov. I mean, he had a hell of a career, obviously. That goes without being said. He's the one that did all the hard work, but it was us on an early August weeknight that we recorded this and talked about my roller hockey number, and we both waxed poetically about someone who never played for the Penguins. And it was only about a matter of a week or so after that they announced, maybe 2 weeks after they announced it. So if someone from the Red Wings PR team would like to reach out and maybe we could have a chat about discussing, some lower bowl tickets or something to that night. We got Twitter, or X as they call it now. We got Instagrams. Just reach out because we know you're listening out there. You're not sneaky.
I mean, we expect it, basically. I mean,
absolutely. Yeah. And maybe even throw Garrett a bone too.
Yeah, we'll get him like a coupon to Little Caesars or something like that. Like, we can help Garrett out. I mean, he's the one that kind of got this whole thing started. Like, we can definitely get him like a Little Caesar pizza or something like that.
hire Garrett to be the Uber driver for Fedorov to the game.
Yes, absolutely. With a little taxi cab hat and everything.
I bet he wears one of those anyways.
He probably does. Yeah.
The other thing, yeah, I wonder if those ever healed up. We're gonna have Garrett on pretty soon.
We're gonna ask him.
Robbie and I talked about it. I reached out to Garrett, and he said he's down. We just got to coordinate schedules. So hopefully we got some interviews here coming up soon. But the other thing, Robbie, that I swear we talked about on that same podcast that I think someone from the Penguins organization this time was listening to. We talked about, the sale of the team, these rumors, and if Mario came back, and I remember we were kind of roundtabling the idea of like, well, what would be cool about Mario coming back besides the familiarity and the cups and all that, and just the majesty and the grace that is Mario Lemieux. We talked about, well, they should fire up the like a Walk of Fame, the Hall of Fame for the individual team. And guess what? Just right around the time that the Fedorov jersey retirement comes out, the Penguins announced that they're bringing it back after maybe 12 years or so, or 10 years. It was
13 years. They said on
13 years. This has been buried, and this is the year they're bringing it back. So again, I don't know. Gosh, we might be going to a couple of games this year together, Robbie, with all the favors we're doing.
The Hall of Fame was something well overdue to be like revitalized. I don't know why they ever let it die. Because
we were talking about that. Why it's a revenue maker. It's a reason to celebrate, like a night in say February.
It's gonna put butts in the seats. Like
it will.
And they're gonna make it a permanent installation at PPG Paints Arena, which is definitely something that is very important in that as well, so the people can kind of see it. I had to go and look. You have a couple members already, from players to builders to contributors. But over the next 3 years, they're going to induct 10 more players and or GMs and coaches, I should say. You're going to get, and I'm sure more are going to be added. You have to be out of the league. You have to be retired for at least a year, making one very important figure not eligible yet, that being Marc-Andre Fleury. In there, and then obviously Crosby, Malcolm Letang whenever they retire. But in the next 3 years, they're inducting Tommy Barrasso, Ron Francis, Yager, which is no surprise whatsoever. A guy
he's not done playing yet.
I think he technically is now.
Oh, he is?
I believe he is. A guy that definitely has earned this distinction. We mentioned him early in this podcast, Chris Kunitz.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah. Larry Murphy, Kevin Stevens.
I was going to say, is your boy Kevin Stevens already in it? But you said that was 13 years ago. There's no way that...
Yeah. Yeah, and then you have Scotty Bowman, former head coach, Eddie Johnston, former head coach / general manager / team president. He's held about every role with the Penguins over the years. And then not technically retired from hockey, but he's no longer a player. General manager Jim Rutherford, and then the late great Ray Shero will also be inducted. So I believe after those two are inducted, with Craig Patrick already being in, all three Stanley Cup winning general managers will be in the Penguins Hall of Fame, which is a nice little note there as well. But then you also have Scotty Bowman, and he will join Bob Johnson as two Stanley Cup winning coaches, leaving just Dan Bylsma and Mike Sullivan out. But I would assume that both of those guys someday will get in, as well as the two winningest coaches in franchise history as well.
Oh, yeah, it's coming at some point for Sully there. I mean, it's going to be – I mean, hell, when they have their home opener, the day – is it their home opener that's the second game of the season against the Rangers, or is it like the third game of the season?
Yeah, they open the season on Long Island, in Manhattan against the aforementioned Mike Sullivan and crew, and then they play the Islanders on the 9th. That's the home, and then Saturday the 11th they play the Rangers in Pittsburgh.
That's going to be a madhouse in there.
That's going to be a very odd night. Yes.
It's going to be odd. It's going to be a madhouse. It's going to be emotional. It's going to be weird to see Sullivan behind a different bench, but I mean, it'll only be a matter of time before him. Does Dan Bylsma, you think he's a lock for the Penguins Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I mean, you win a cup you're the second winningest coach in team history. Scotty Bowman was only there for a year. Bob Johnson was there for a year. You got to put Bowles was going to get in.
Is Dupuis going to get in?
Dupuis is an interesting one because he was a very important part of this team. I think that there's guys that get in before him. Most notably, Phil the Thrill. I think gets in.
Yeah.
Phil the Thrill is going to get in. I think Alex Kovalev is going to get in, and Sergei Gonchar is going to get in too.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked with it. Definitely Gonch and Kovalev. Yeah,
Gonch was just such a important piece. He was only here 5 years, but he was the first out of the lockout. Crosby is your new superstar. He was your veteran presence, and he was so important to that era. The Cup, building this team into a competitor, going to back-to-back Stanley Cups, just kind of getting them on track to be what they are today, kind of getting this era rolling. He was a very important part of that. And
absolutely.
Again, Letang,
Malkin, really, his relationship with Malkin was
Malkin,
really important.
And then he came back as a coach.
That's right.
He won a cup as a coach. Just being able to kind of give that leadership and then kind of help Letang kind of take that spot after that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see some of the names that start to trickle out in future years to see who's getting in, and it'll spark lots of debates. There's lots of players that, role players veteran defensemen that, we're near and dear to our hearts for cup runs, and it's just there's always going to be an argument for this guy or that guy. So I think it's great they're bringing it back. I'm excited to see it. I mean, like you said, it'll put butts in seats, especially for a generation
people love that. People love that kind of stuff.
We love nostalgia, especially our generation. It'll just be, I'd love to go, sit and watch, and it'll be a spectacle to check out too. I wonder, I always wonder how much these things kind of mean to players and coaches that are still actively in the game. And I hope Dubas goes and looks at it and says, you know what, I'm going to be up there. I want to get in on this action with all of these legendary people in the city of Pittsburgh. I'd love to check it out at some point. It'll be interesting to see how it's set up and, what they do within the stadium to accommodate this whole thing. So I'm excited for it, man. It's a cool development. Absolutely. And again, I will be saying that the Skating Penguin Network podcast is taking full credit for heading up this operation.
We've had it's been a quiet summer throughout the NHL, but Skating Penguin Network, again, we've kind of taken a little hiatus. But we've been cranking out some bangers.
We have. Look at what we're doing for the NHL. We're moving needles.
Speaking of the Penguins Hall of Fame, the Skating Penguin Network. Throw us in there, guys.
Throw us in there.
Yeah, but no, we've been whipping out some bangers this summer, and now we're getting ready. We're kind of, like I said, that chill's in the air. It's about time to get serious about some hockey, guys.
It is, and it's going to be an interesting year, Robbie, because, man, I've been hearing all sorts of different stuff about this Penguins team. There's the talk of it's going to be, Gavin McKenna, just basically pencil him in, order your jersey already because he's going to be a Pittsburgh Penguin. I've heard certain people say that this team could be a playoff team. It's all dependent on a number of factors like every year is. But you look at the roster and you're like, I can't tell if this is god-awful or if it's maybe this is a fringe playoff team. I don't know.
I look at the roster as constructed, and I'm like, am I crazy or is there something here? I
know.
Are we talking playoffs?
I don't want to go. I don't want to go there.
No, I don't want to go there. Are we talking playoffs or are we talking Gavin McKenna? Where are we at here? Because there's I've seen multiple projections of they're a bottom 5 team, they're a bubble team, they get mid 80s points, they're in it until March, they're out of it, they're trading everybody at the deadline. It's all over the place. Heavens knows what Tristan Jarry is going to do. What's going to happen is they'll be really bad. They'll be out of the playoff picture, and then Tristan Jarry from end of February on will be Marty Brodeur prime.
Marty Brodeur.
Yeah, but I don't know. I look at the roster, I'm maybe, and then I'm maybe not.
There's no in between. There's no
it's either gonna be bad or good. Like there's no like mid here. There's no mid.
Yeah, no one's saying like they'll finish like they'll be getting like a the 20th overall pick or something like that. It's either they're getting McKenna or they're going to be like basically a wild card team the whole season, and they're going to really force Dubas's hand, and that someone's going to have to get dealt at the deadline to like tank them, or is Dubas going to have to go shopping for like a scoring winger at some point? I don't know. It's going to be there's no in between.
At the deadline, you're like, I think they can take the Panthers in 5.
No.
Gentlemen sweep.
Yeah, see, and look, this is just where we go as fans. Like it's the end of August, and we're already like maybe they'll make the playoffs.
It's August. We're very much needing of anything to get us until at least training camp. So, if we're talking ourselves into bubble or wild card Penguins, it's definitely. We need a dose
of reality. We need to see we need to see the puck hit the ice, because
we need to see the puck hit the ice and Fleury. Jarry to let in a wobbler in the first preseason game. You're like,
and
okay,
we are so back. We're back. Gavin McKenna, it is.
Getting the jersey now, guys. But
yeah.
All right, guys.
Well, Robbie, that's all I really got for this one.
All I got. Yeah, I mean, good to be back. We're getting close. So yeah.
Maybe there'll be some news by the next time we record in the next week.
Anything. Literally give us anything. Make a minor league trade for all I care.
Yeah, like tell me that Ville Koivunen he's gonna maybe make Team Finland or something like that. I don't know.
Ville Koivunen 40 goal scorer this year? I'm hearing more and more.
I'm hearing more and more. That's what God, yeah. We need a little dose of that. We need some hockey in our lives, because
we need some grade A cope to get us through the next couple weeks until at least spring or training camp starts.
Can you imagine the first preseason game that you can watch on a really bad stream online? Like, I'm there, dude.
Some guy like going on TikTok live from the arena.
I mean, dude, I would do it. I've done more desperate things for content, and I will say that like that's something that, you know what? There's always that like first preseason game that you can stream, and it's usually like in Columbus. There's not a single person starting on the roster that's playing that game. They'll probably have Matt Dumba as like the number 1D. It's gonna I will be watching that game.
You have to look up this guy you literally never heard of before, and you can barely pronounce his name. He scores like just some meaningless goal in the first period, and you're like, listen, I think we got something here. It may take about a couple weeks in the A, but he's gonna. I'm telling you,
I'm seeing something with this, Czechoslovakian fourth line winger who's a scratch in the ECHL. But I did see something there in a preseason game in Columbus.
Yes.
Sign me up, man. But other than that, Robbie, I got nothing left for this one, and this was fun to get back to.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, that's all I got. So we're gonna put a bow on this one. Lots of good discussion. We'll be back hopefully next week. Hopefully there'll be something to talk about. But for Snail, I'm Robbie. You guys enjoy your Labor Day. We'll talk to you guys in September.